Welcome to my Sensory Play for Learning online course. My name is Robyn Papworth. I'm an exercise physiologist, developmental educator, author, speaker, and mum of three. I started with sensory therapy many years ago when I worked in aged care for people with dementia, and I used sensory play as a way to calm their anxiety, particularly around sundowners, around dinner time. I then had my own children. My anxiety went up through the roof. I've had anxiety my whole life, and I started to feel that I needed sensory play just for myself. And when I started doing it with my children, I thought, this is amazing. I'm going to incorporate this into their learning. So I use sensory play now. Over the last 5 years, I've used sensory play for literacy, numeracy, spatial awareness, and of course to manage anxiety. This sensory therapy course will take you through the 7 senses that I work with. There's also an 8th sense called interoception. I tend not to work with that much. I refer that on to an occupational therapist, but I work with the other 7 senses. When it comes to taste, I send my clients off to a speech pathologist. Being an allied health professional as an exercise physiologist, I tend to use my own strengths, but then refer on when it's outside of my scope. So anytime I have a child who's sensory seeking with their mouth, I'll send them to an occupational therapist or a speech pathologist. I mainly specialise in the areas of vestibular and proprioception, which is a whole unit in this course just on those 2 senses. When I explain what I do as an exercise physiologist, I often get asked, what's the difference between you and an OT? Myself, again, I use those gross motor skills and sensory therapy in those areas. I do a little bit of fine motor skills and sensory play, but I tend to specialise in the gross motor work. I refer my clients to an OT if I want them to have an assessment. OTs are fantastic for diagnostics and assessment. And then obviously I send them to a speech pathologist if it's anything to do with the mouth. So that gives you an idea of what I do. I'm now going to quickly talk to you about fidget toys and the importance of fidget toys.